It's the holiday season, Gabe. And Andre, I don't care what time it is. Stop blocking out the names. But you did receive a nice gift under the tree here. Gabe, what do you want here? Bijan in a third or Jefferson a first and a 2026 fourth?
Ooh, Ty. On the first week of Christmas, Bijan gave to me 20 fantasy points and a broken tackle spree, my man.
Joy to the world. Let's talk about it.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Welcome in to the All Gas Trade Show. I'm Ty Declare 44. I'm joined by Gabe at iGabe_FF on X. And yeah, happy holidays. It is week 16 of the fantasy football season, aka the semifinals. I mean, we got to win. We got to go home. Hopefully not going home, Gabe, unless you're going to go spend time with your family. Hopefully you're just moving on in the fantasy playoffs. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, man. As you can see, appearance-wise, I am going crazy with all things Christmas right now. Having to go shopping for gifts, having to get everything ready for the Christmas day. And so just a very chaotic weekend, to say the least.
Yes, you'll notice it's bright outside. So that should tell you how chaotic of a season it is for us. But we are here. We're here to talk some ball. But the conversation doesn't stop here. Go to patreon.com/allgas, get into the community, hop into voice chat. We literally talk about this stuff all day. DDFFB to get all the tools to dominate your leagues. Sign up for the trades and chill tier here on YouTube, $3.99 a month American. It's like what, $4.99, $5.99 American or Canadian, Gabe. So
yep.
A little terrible little exchange right there, but we get by. So we got a lot of trades to talk about here, man. And I'm gonna let you right now. You take a breath. There's no hot seat. Okay, we're just here to talk as many DD fantasy football trades as we can for the people here as we gear up for hopefully the final week of the fantasy season. Boom. So let's hop on over here. Let's talk about it. So Andre gives us a 12-team start 12 best ball PPR. It's a 0.25 point per carry as well, Gabe. So Andre sent away Jefferson, his 2026 first and a fourth for Bijan and a 26 third. I mean, we've seen the dynasty fall of Jefferson because the offense didn't support him. And if that's not a proving fact of anyone in dynasty can fall, like this is it. But Bijan, especially in a 0.25 point per carry, he's just on a different level. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even if we were to look at this, like probably at the beginning of the year and it's Bijan and Jefferson 1-for-1 with a 0.25 point per carry, like, that's already pretty close as it is. And some people may even lean the running back, right? Just given the nature of the scoring format. But right now, man, at the end of the year, Justin Jefferson it's been depressing to watch, to say the least. And I don't know that next year it's going to get any better, right? I mean, again, we don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like. And so obviously we're all very hopeful that it'll get better. But right now, Bijan he's just incredible. And in a format that is heavily, favoring the running back already as it is. And if I'm making this deal from Andre's perspective, it's probably because I'm convicted that my first is going to be late already. And I'm probably in the championship ready to go for it. I'm okay, man, with giving up a late 26 first and Justin Jefferson for Bijan Robinson right now.
Yeah. And you got it right. So Andre got to the semifinals. He's now chasing the Bijan experience against a bad Cardinals run defense. Oh, yeah. 26 first. Yeah. 109 at worst. So, best ball, I also feel like I put more emphasis on using those picks, especially this time of year in best ball. Especially that means I can get into a elite level running back versus, the wide receiver where you can build it so many different ways in best ball. I don't need to hopefully rely on a Jefferson elite asset if I have to have a smattering of darts, to really fill out, especially in these deeper bench best ball leagues. Being able to get Bijan in the 0.25 point per carry, yes, it's a hefty price to pay, right? Jefferson and a first, that's not nothing, right? But getting a guy like Bijan this time of year to go and win the money, this is why you hold those picks. This is why you have that stuff to spend it to get it done now, especially if you're concerned about a 2026 class not having the depth, as it seems every fantasy outlet is screaming from the rooftop.
Just like every year, right?
Every year. We do it every year. This year feels more convicted than others, we'll say, right? So I found myself trying to move my 26 picks as well, just especially those late ones, move it into something I can use now and hopefully have a play into next year as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
But Andre, great way to get us started off here this holiday season. Again, a nice gift, a little grinchy on your part there, but hopefully that's not Cindy Lou Who under the old blackout there.
Hey, look at you, man, knowing all of your Christmas movies over there. I love it.
Or what do you think we learned in Canada in school? Like that was basically.
I guess that's fair. You guys actually get to enjoy the snow and different things like that, whereas here in Texas, we don't get that luxury.
Right. But hey, thankfully for Scardy, in a 12-team start 10 Superflex league, he does get the privilege, the ability to get into a elite difference-making tight end, a 2.0 tight end premium. It's also a 0.2 point per carry and a 0.2 rushing and receiving first down. Yep. So Scardy gets Kittle and a 26 third, sends away Woody Mark and his 2026 second. This was a trade between Hill Bullies and Ol Scardy, and he desperately needed the tight end upgrade. So, Gabe, I got a little more team context here for Scardy, but I want you to let me know here. 12 by 10 Superflex 2.0 tight end premium. We're going to go to our Houston correspondent here.
Here we go.
It's probably warm and sunny versus being windy and cold and snowy. But Woody Marks in a second or Kittle in a third?
All right. So first off, I got to take this headband off because now it's serious. Now we got to start talking some fantasy football here, right? Yeah, turn it to the side, get it all going. And so immediately right off the bat, Ty, 12 by 10, shallow format, right? You're talking 2.0 tight end premium. And so that's definitely something that I like. That's in a position where I want to really invest in my tight end position. And George Kittle has, been George Kittle, right? As what you would expect from him week in and week out, right? He's very, very consistent, and he gives you an upside at the tight end position that very, very few tight ends do give you week in and week out, right? And so I'm willing to always invest in a tight end like that. Obviously, I know that he's a little bit on the older end, but right now, man, it's point scoring season. You're in the semis. You want to win, right? So the age factor doesn't really mean anything at this point. And so Woody Marks, I've been really conflicted on him, man. Like, he's been good as a player, but just Houston as a whole, again, we're starting to see an uptick in the offense. Things are starting to get a little bit better, but the offensive line is still not that great. Again, I think a lot of the games are competitive for Houston because of the defense is so damn good. Like, that defense is so damn good that the offense just has to do enough to keep them in the game, right? And so I don't know that I'm wanting to put too much stock right now into Woody Marks. Again, I think if we can improve the offensive line, then next year it's definitely something that I'm excited for. But right now, given the landscape, I am happy, man, to pay, Woody Marks in a second, probably even maybe a little bit of a later second for George Kittle. Like, it just, the format's already there, the shallowness of the league. Like, in a 12 by 10, Woody Marks is probably a guy that I'm not super, super excited to start week in and week out.
Yeah, and he seems like a guy that's picked up the injury-prone tag, from at least from this rookie class and then everything. So, Woody, I do have a lot of Woody in Dynasty myself. So, I'm not in a mood to go out and acquire more right now. I'm also not trying to just ship it all away. But if I had an opportunity here in a 12 by 10, so a relatively shallow league, to get into the Kittle in a 2.0 tight end premium on a team that desperately needed tight end, versus, again, a 0.2 point per carry, 0.2 first down, like Woody Marks can score on the right weeks. And he had a lot of opportunity this year to do so. But I feel like getting into the tight end there and betting over the next 2 weeks that Kittle's going to outscore Marks, I'm willing to pay, a second and a third swap to get it done there. That's pretty easy for me. So Scardy has Josh Allen, Daniels, Mac Jones, and Sanders, about 6 other backups as well. He's got Bijan, Henry, Javonte, Judkins, Ramondre, and backups. Nico, T, Worthy, Jacoby. He got Kittle. He had Henry and Parkinson and JT Sanders. He had that 26 first and 3 26 thirds. I'm looking at that Parkinson. I bet he plugged that Parkinson in the lineup this week too.
God, I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't.
So now, again, we saw what happened with Puka. I faced one league where I faced Darnold, Stafford, Puka, and was it Kyron maybe? So I faced like multiple guys. It's going to be a bit of a tough road for your guy. But I'll tell you what, man, on this team, I hope that Kittle brings you there. But I don't mind rolling, Henry, Parkinson. That's probably carried you this far. That's why you're in the semis, right? But looking
Henry's
at this running back room, man, like this running back room, where does Marks actually fit in?
I mean, he's probably the fifth best option at best, right? Like I'm starting Bijan, Henry, Javonte, Judkins, and probably Ramondre. That's probably going to be, team dependent, like who they're playing, but he's right there. So he's either 5 or 6 on the depth chart for running back in the start 10 league. Like that's not a guy that I'm super, super excited about. Right. So yeah, I mean, Kittle's obviously easily slots into that tight end 1 for you. And I think that's a great move for you.
Yeah. I'd love to see Hillbilly's roster here to see how that fits in. And especially if you're out of it, getting a younger player in Marks in a second for someone like Kittle, who's still, as much as we love Kittle, 1 hit away from us drastically thinking differently about his dynasty value, but that goes for a smattering of players in the NFL, so it's not really a major takeaway. But, I want to see Hillbilly's roster there as well, but good trade, you two. Yeah. Good luck, Scardy. Okay, let's move on to J. Henny 74. I believe in J. Henny. You know that one, Gabe?
I don't, man. You lost me on that one.
Good. Yeah, well, that tells me a lot. It's okay.
I hope you're not too disappointed in me.
No, that probably reflects better on you than me, honestly. But Jay Henny brings us a couple here in a 12-team start 11, 2 quarterback, 3 wide receiver, a tiered PPR of 0.5, 1.0, and then 1.75, and a 0.5 per first down bonus. So all those receivers, all those guys getting first downs, going to get some points. So Jay Henny recently took over a first-round exit orphan and made a couple deals with some playoff teams. So hats off to you, taking on a late season orphan, just out of the goodness of your heart.
Doing the Lord's work. Doing the Lord's work.
The receiver room's obviously weak, but more trades should be on the horizon. Thoughts are welcome. So I got more team stuff, but let's start here. So again, 12 by 11, 2 quarterback. Jay Henny sends away that man, George Kittle and Steph Diggs. He has Tajee Spears and Sam Laporta. So Sam Laporta, back surgery, out for the year. Hopefully comes back as Sam Laporta that we know, and maybe even better. Tajee Spears never really got going. He suffered injuries early, and that the offense never really got going either.
Yep. And Tony Pollard now has really just assumed even a bigger role with how he's been playing lately too.
Yeah, and judging by the amount of Tony Pollards that have been trying to be sent to me in trades, I could tell you that's what's happening as well. But he sent away Diggs and Kittle, 2 good win now items, but really to an orphan. What are those guys? So talk to me here. Is it worth it to get into Sam Laporta here in the 1.75 tight end premium and everything we know?
I mean, you already kind of hit the nail on the head, right? I think for me, if I'm in a contending team, I want George Kittle and Stephon Diggs pretty comfortably, right? Like 1-for-1, Sam Laporta to George Kittle. My mindset right now is just points, right? That being said, though, I do think George Kittle moving off of a tight end like George Kittle for Sam Laporta is a savvy dynasty move, right? Because again, Sam Laporta is the younger asset and he is very, very good, man. Very, very good. My only concern with Detroit is that there's just so many mouths to feed, right? That, he regressed a little bit more once Jameson Williams really got going, right? Once Jameson Williams got going, then it was all Amon-Ra, Jameson, and Gibbs. Like that's where really, and so then he was kind of getting a little bit of the scraps, right? Who knows what that looks like in the future? Obviously, I do have a little bit of concerns with it being a back surgery. I'm not, 100% sure what that looks like for him starting next year. I'd imagine that he would start the year, but obviously, anytime that somebody has injuries, you're always a little bit hesitant, right? And so for me, 1-for-1, I could go either way depending on my team, right? Diggs for Tajee Spears, I'm still going to take Diggs, man. He's a veteran that has had his moments this year, and he's had quite a few of those with Drake May that I'm just willing to bet on that. I just don't think Tajee Spears is ever going to amount to anything, and he's a little bit more of kind of like a roster clogger outside of an injury, of course. I think in the grand scheme of things, I still want George Kittle and Stephon Diggs, but I can understand why you would want to take the Sam Laporta side. But for me, he was still a guy that people were starting to be a little bit more down on, even prior to the injury.
Yeah. It feels a lot like a age-related deal.
Yeah,
get out 2 30-year-olds, get into 2, young 20-year-olds. I try not to base a lot of my trades on age if I can. It feels like it feels like it's just not really capturing the here and now where Dynasty is. But tell me on this team. Hurts, Dak, got some backups. We've got Scattaboo, ETN, Spears, Caleb, and backups. We've got Hunter, AD, You got Keenan Allen and backups, Laporta, Henry, Schultz. No extra first, an extra 26 second though. So yeah, definitely an orphan. You're just tearing down, trying to find some value. Yeah. I think my only question, is like, is there a better deal you could have found? Could you have sold both maybe for less but separately? I'm not sure. And the problem is with taking over an orphan this late in the season, your options are pretty damn limited, right? And I don't know if you get Sam Laporta for these guys come March. When we're in the off season again, and I don't know. I think I'd hope you would. I'd hope, but you never know. So
I feel like maybe even with the team though, like with Henry and Schultz already at the tight end position, like I would have maybe tried to go cross positionally. Like, could I move Kittle for a younger wide receiver and throwing Diggs in as a flyer, right? I mean, thinking about just injured wide receivers right now, like a Garrett Wilson type, like just something like that where you're able to move the needle forward, right? Again, Laporta absolutely would slot in as your tight end one, but you have two guys right behind him that are just as good. And Schultz has been really damn good lately too. So
yeah. Could you sniff around a Garrett Wilson? People are conflicted on Marv. Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, like something. If you want to go and get in a cross positional, true. But yeah, I agree, man. Like having Hunter Henry, it is a nice little stopgap. But you need Laporta to be the difference maker. It's so hard to have those difference maker tight end seasons. Like a lot of things really have to line up to get that outcome. So hopefully that's what it looks like for Laporta. But let's see the second deal he did here. So he sent away Mike Wilson.
Yeah.
He got 26 second and a third. Old Big Diaz Energy's third as well. So, seeing that happen there. Who's this with? V Tomps 15. So that's pretty much the price for Wilson right now, eh?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much it. A second and a third. I don't know if you can get him for a straight second. Just given how he's been scoring. I don't know what that looks like if Marv comes back this week. I don't know. I'm curious to find out, but I don't know. But where your team is and what you have to do, even in a 2026 class, I like getting a second and a third there for Wilson. I don't think you're carrying Wilson forward, and that's what really moves your orphan team forward. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is definitely a much better deal for me too, right? Again, I think right now Michael Wilson is doing really, really good, but there's a lot of things that are out of Michael Wilson's way right now that are really enabling him to have these type of games, right? To your point, yes, no Marvin Harrison. Jacoby Brissett's throwing the football, right? I don't think Jacoby Brissett is going to be the long-term, option for Arizona, but I could be wrong, right? Who knows what that looks like? But the reality is that, once a new quarterback comes in, it's probably going to be the Marv and McBride show, but who knows? So I think this is probably the better move for me, where I am willing to move a guy like Michael Wilson for a second. If not, if I can get more, then absolutely. And just kind of de-leverage and de-risk myself a little bit more.
Absolutely. Sorry, my in the middle of that trade, my alarm went off. I'm making feet-based ornaments for in-laws this week. So my feet are in the oven literally right now. So I'm just texting my wife to go and get my feet out of the oven so they don't burn.
I'm sure they're going to love those ornaments, by the way.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Man.
Now, Gabe, this is one we did this week in old DD Kings. So it's a 14-team start 10 super flex. It's a PPR, 0.75 tight end premium, 0.15 point per carry. Big bonuses for those 50+ yard plays. We have a pretty dog water team in there. Didn't work out this year. They worked the 101, right?
I think that's overestimating. I think I'd rather dog water than the team we've got. Depending on the day.
Well, maybe hot dog water. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you messaged me, but like, hey man, this one popped in there. What do you think? I'm thinking about it. I think the big thing that came to mind for us is we needed to split something, right?
Oh, yeah.
We just talked about Laporta.
Yep.
And Rashee Rice. Concussion. I don't know. Right? He's in the protocol. He's not playing this week. Okay.
I think it's also Kansas City's just out of it.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
a little out of it-itis. Yeah.
Yeah. They're in Cancun mode.
Yeah. But talk to me, man, on a team where, again, dog water is that's giving you a little something. Splitting Jamar Chase for Rashee Rice and Sam Laporta. Talk me through it.
I mean, look, Rashee Rice has been really, really good. Really, really good. And so I know for Garrett, he's obviously one of those teams. I think he's in first place right now. So he's definitely very much in it. We are on the complete opposite spectrum to your point. Well, I think we are the 101 right now. And so it's kind of one of those deals where, do I think we probably could have gotten a little bit more for Jamar Chase? Maybe. But I will tell you this, Rashee Rice, I think, and Jamar Chase week to week, when they're both healthy, when they both have their quarterbacks at best, I think it could be really close, man. Rashee Rice played really damn good this year. Obviously, it's going to be, again, Chase for the most part, but we are able to get a high-end wide receiver like a Rashee Rice. Of course, he's not Jamar Chase, but we're also getting to add in a potential high-end tight end next year, depending on what that looks like. And in a 0.75 premium, I mean, I'm willing to take the gamble, right? I know that it's probably a little dicey, if you will. But I think if you were to be going Rashee Rice to Jamar Chase, 1-for-1 already as it is, I think it would probably cost you maybe like a first and a second on top of Rashee Rice. And I think Sam Laporta probably covers that value for me pretty close. I don't know anybody that's going to be paying 2 firsts plus Rashee Rice for Jamar Chase.
No one is. I mean, no. I'm looking at JB's tiers right now. He's got Rashee Rice, like basically tiered with, but also would buy at 101 prices, right? Yeah. And that's basically a tier and a half below Jamar Chase in his rankings. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking like, and again, I think what having that Justin Jefferson on our team as well made us, you're not trading away your only shot at the elite outcome. Not this year, but next year. If all these players are healthy and we know what we know about Rice, I don't think that's a lot of scoff. But yeah, maybe the question is like, did we give enough for the injury tax? Did we squeeze GRT enough? I'll tell you what, we tried to add in Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, and he said no
for Chris Rod, and he said So we weren't getting much there. I know we've sniffed around the league on like a little bit of Chase interest, and we weren't getting anywhere. The league is also a little like we can't trade for 27 picks, so we were a little hamstrung. Maybe the better move was to wait until 27s were on the board and go after it. But is this deal even there in the offseason? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's honestly a great point. Like is this a deal that Garrett's going to be willing to make in the offseason? I don't know that he is, right? I can tell you from the conversations that I had with him, he was already hesitant as it is to move Rashee Rice. And he's like, do I really want to add Sam Laporta? He's like, not really. Because to your point, we were trying to get Shedeur as well added into the deal. And he was just like, I don't know that I'm willing to do. He's like, I'm already hesitant on the fence with Rashee Rice and Sam Laporta for Jamar Chase, right? Because again, I think from a point scoring perspective, week to week, like it could be really close between these two guys. So I thought it was a pretty good deal, man. I thought it was a pretty good deal. Again, was there a better deal out there? Potentially. Could we have gotten a little bit more? Maybe. I don't know how much more we could have gotten, on top of Rashee Rice and Sam Laporta. Maybe a second worth of value. Maybe.
Right. What was the deal that we opened up with last week? It was Chase for Garrett Wilson and who? Remember?
I don't.
I'm just trying to see how that compares to this one. Hold on here. Let me open this up. What was it? Okay. Well, this is great. This is great YouTube. I'm waiting for an ad on YouTube to go by so I can see what it was.
Nice.
This is lovely. It was Malik Neighbors.
Oh, so, Garrett Wilson and Malik Neighbors yeah. I mean, 1-for-1, Garrett Wilson or Rashee Rice?
Oh, Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice over Malik?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
think so. Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, especially with the injury I'm not buying too much stock into Rashee Rice's concussion. I think week 1-for-1 Malik to Rashee from an age perspective, maybe Malik, but from a point scoring perspective, I'm still going to bet Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City. And so Garrett Wilson and Sam Laporta, I mean, in the tight end premium, I'll probably just give me Sam Laporta.
Yeah. I think Malik Neighbors, that's a really interesting conversation. Laporta for Wilson straight up, I think that's another interesting conversation, right? But yeah, I think a lot of people will be on the Chase side here, but you tell us. Okay, and we're back. Sorry for the jump scare change in layout, but my power went out as soon as I said the word Chase at the end of that last trade. So hopefully you let us know what you thought about that trade. I'm moseying on over to my in-laws' house. They have power, so that's a good place to start. Use my handy dandy tactical flashlight. Thought I'd have to hang on to this for a zombie apocalypse, but it came in handy. Getting all my cords, getting everything together, getting my super sensitive travel mic. So we're here. Gabe had to go take care of some stuff, so it's just going to be you and me for the rest of the show here. So let's get on with some trades. And really, I wish Gabe was here for this one because he's involved. This one comes in Knockout Kings, and it comes from our guy T. Sanford. So it's a 12x12 Superflex Best Ball League, 6 -2 quarterback scoring. It's a tiered PPR, so it's 0.5 total for running backs, 1 point total for wide receivers, and that's not a typo. It's 2.75 total for tight ends, plus a graduate reception bonus all the way from 0.1 for a short one to over a point for a 40 to 50 yard reception. 0.25 point per carry, a 0.25 first down bonus, except rushing first downs get a whole point instead of 0.25. So lots of bonuses to be found here. T. Sanford, he sent away Jacoby Brissett, Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuel, and Saquon Barkley. He got into Xavier Legette, Quinshon Judkins, and T. Higgins. For T, he lost in the first round of the playoffs. He moved off his 2 highest scoring wide receivers this season, no joke, and was looking to add more value this offseason. So no repeat champs this year. Yes, so T. Sanford, champion last year. He did the damn thing. Got knocked out in the first round, and Gabe is in the semifinals. I'm in the semifinals of this league too. We're on opposite sides of the bracket. So for T, he's trying to get some, move some value, trade some value around. So he gets into Quinshon, sends away Saquon. I think that's probably a pretty easy handshake. Those teams that are trying to win, you're going to want Saquon, in a 2 week bet over Quinshon. The age factor would be on Quinshon's side. Probably the dynasty runway is on Quinshon's side if Cleveland can figure it out. But Saquon just feels like one of those guys that, as the weather gets colder, he's only going to get better. So we'll see what happens there with old Barkley. But I think that's a pretty easy cross off in my opinion. And then Gabe, so he gets Brissett, who, if the passing volume stays up there, you're looking at a high-end QB2, low-end QB1 rest of the way here. Keenan Allen and Deebo Samuel, both, T's former highest-scoring wide receivers, but still decent options, right? Aging, but able to get it done, especially in a best ball format. For T, he gets T. Higgins and Xavier Legette. So gets the best wide receiver asset in the deal, the most quote-unquote valuable one in T. Higgins. X. Legette, he is what he is. Right? He's probably going to be a conduit of whatever offense he's in, and he's probably going to be the second, third, fourth option in that offense. So best ball, he's worth a roster spot, but he's not really pulling a lot of weight in a deal for me. Really, this deal makes a lot of sense, I think, from both sides, from a contending versus kicking it and trying to recoup some value, get some dynasty runway. I think, though, if I had to choose a side, it's going to be Gabe's side, just because he gets 4 usable assets in best ball. He gives up 3, so it's not like it's a fleece in that kind of a sense. But he gets a quarterback, he gets 2 wide receivers, and he gets probably the better running back bet for a 2-week stretch. So, as someone who may have to face Gabe next week, if I can get there, I hated it, but I think that was probably a better move for both sides. So good work there, T. Better luck next year, and we'll see if they can be a repeat champion next year. All right, let's move on to old JD. So JD pushed in all of his chips in a 10x10 0.5 PPR. So we got 2 deals here from JD. The first one, he sent away Ashton Genty, not 1 but 2 2027 first and a 2027 second to get into Bijan Robinson. We talked some Bijan earlier. Bijan is running back 1 in my opinion. We've seen the Gibbs week, but it just feels like, I don't know, Bijan is just skirting those kind of weeks all the time. So if you said, like, hey, you have to choose one, it's going to be Bijan running back 1 for me. Ashton Genty, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Broken Expectations. Just the Raiders offense is a mess. The whole organization is a tough pill to swallow. He got volume, but just doesn't get anything. Like really going from a fantasy perspective, at least this rookie year, there's hope. There's a lot of hope, as they figure it out, as Genty, gets his feet under him, hopefully literally with an offensive line. There's hope that you can do it. So it really is in a 10 by 10. There's 100 starters, shallow ass format. What is it worth? What is the tier up worth? And if you told me that's 226 first, especially if they're later, I'm probably paying that, honestly, to move up. But when you talk 27 first, man, those things are becoming more and more unattainable by the day. They are going to be gold. If they're not already gold, they're going to be gold very, very soon. And I'm very curious to see what happens this offseason as we move through the draft and what these 27 first go for relative to their 2026 counterparts. Again, if that's 26 picks, I want the Bijan side. But yeah, make that 27 picks, 27 first. So assuming you have your own first still, you have 3 shots in the 27 class there for Belgian Bagel. Nice name. I'm going to lean the Genty side because I also assume that Belgian Bagel is not trying to win this year. He's trying to recoup some value. And as I've said on the show multiple times, I don't like to hold my dynasty value at running back. I'd rather, try out another option and get whatever liquidity or value I can get from that. And getting 27 first and a 27 second on top of Genty, that would do it for me, even in a 10 by 10 shallow format. But that is literally the price. In a 10 by 10, and as you get 10 by 8, 10 by 9, like any of those shallow pieces, it's going to be uncomfortable land to try to go and get a guy like Bijan. You tell me, right? I wish we had a little more context on where those first were, but is that I'm taking Bijan no matter what, just because it's shallow, 27 picks be damned, you got him to spend them, and Genty's just not him? Or do we want to play the long-term, the runway bet, the give me more stuff to go play with into the offseason? That's interesting. What else did JD do? JD gave up Rome Odunze and 226 first for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, I don't have any of my sounders here, but I would hit about the applause, and I might hit the what the dog doing. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. But 10 by 10, this is where those 26 picks come into play, right? I will Rome Odunze, like we were chatting wide receiver one, or Rome Odunze wide receiver 1 season. That turned out to be JSN season. Even with putting up a goose egg in the first half this week, he put up a 20 spot in the second half, and that's just JSN. Once he gets going, he is that offense right now. I don't really see that changing. So JSN wide receiver 1 in dynasty season is alive and well. Right up there with Puka, right up there with Chase, right up there with all those guys. So 10 by 10, 226 first, and Odunze, that's the price of admission, right? So give me JSN on that one. So okay, and there goes those 26 picks, right? So if you told me this one, right, is Bijan and 226 first, that second, I'll take Bijan. If you told me that was Odunze and 227 first for JSN, again, I'm probably coming back and saying the Odunze and the pick side. And that is the market for 26 picks right now. They're low, and they're probably the lowest they're going to be. As we get into the offseason, they will build. We will get some excitement. But that's the general vibe, is get me to 27 by any means. But we appreciate you, JD. Good luck this week. And yeah, you got a couple of hammers in a 10 by 10, so go get it done. All right, let's move on to Crespo. Oh, Crespo in a 12-team start 11, best ball, and a full point tight end premium. He made a deal here where he sent away Patrick Mahomes in a 26 second. He got into Caleb Williams and Colby Parkinson. So we got another Colby Parkinson spotted on this show. He seemed like a great bet for best ball dart, especially after last week. He only gave you an 8 this week, maybe more in a full point tight end premium. Best ball, he's a great guy to have on the roster, especially going into next week. Like it's not a short-term revisionist history thing with Parkinson. It's about that's the plus that we're using to make the quarterback swap happen. So Caleb to Patrick Mahomes, what is that? What is that for you today? I'm looking at JB's tiers right now. We still got Mahomes over Caleb, but it's like a tier, right? Like that's pretty much it. Even in a full point tight end premium, I'm not paying a straight second for Parkinson if I can help it. And I don't really want to make that the reason I make a quarterback swap. The only reason why this deal happened was to get the quarterback shot for the playoffs. I'm assuming you're not doing this and not automatically putting Caleb and trying to score points right now. So I get that from your side. And like you said, Crespo, you entered the year with intentions of competing next year, but ended up the 3rd seed. So, you didn't have a choice. You got to go. And when the money's there, you got to start pushing in and making business moves and decisions. So he still has an extra first and 2 extra thirds this year to use. The wide receiver scoring is the lowest of each position. And for assets of relevance, he has Caleb, Dart, Dak, Bijan, Hampton, Walker, Monty, Manungai, DJ Moore, Debo, Keenan, Worthy, Michael Wilson, Naylor. We got Chig, Parkinson, and Knox. So really, I mean, Parkinson does fit very well in this tight end room, if we're being honest, right? But let's Caleb, Dart, and Dak. This is where, and I've been in a spot in one of my best ball leagues specifically where I have a Mahomes. I'm in the semis. It's a very good team. It has a great chance of moving on to the finals and possibly winning. I lost Mahomes. I started to send out some deals where I was swapping my Mahomes for another quarterback. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I feel like I can either find my way into a cheaper quarterback start, or I should probably go cross-positional versus just accepting the quarterback tier down and paying up to get a quarterback that, let's be honest, as soon as Patrick Mahomes is playing football again, I'm going to want Patrick Mahomes over. Right? And Caleb's been awesome this year. This isn't an indictment on Caleb. It's just what do I want to do with the Mahomes asset? So looking at this team, man, if I have Dart and Dak, Mahomes can either sit there and wait, and I'll just roll out Dak and Dart this week and figure it out next week as well. And I don't want Parkinson to be the reason I make a deal. So Crespo, I see what you're trying to do. And hey, like I said, you weren't even trying to be here, right? And you got a very nice team to go into, into the season here. And then you have some pieces you can play around with going into next year too. So it's not like you put yourself ass out here or anything, and you made a move to go and try and win. And I cannot fault that. But I think if I have that Mahomes asset, I have that second, I think I might just try to figure out my quarterback need there a little bit differently. And then, do I even really have a quarterback need if I have Dart and Dak already on the team? So that's where I'm at on that one, Crespo. But maybe Caleb's so right that it doesn't matter. And you're scared off. Yeah, again, ACL, LCL. Those are big CLs, right? So I don't want to undersell that. Patrick Mahomes just also feels like a person like, oh, he's triple jointed in his knee, and he's way ahead of schedule, and he looks the best he's ever done come April. But we're gonna get all those reports and we're gonna be glowing. It's gonna be Patrick Mahomes. But I am really curious on how Mahomes isn't fast, but he can scoot. Is that going to be the case? Is he still going to be, just a little bit faster than the guy chasing him, or is he going to lose that step? And how does that affect, the Patrick Mahomes greatness going forward? I'm not sure. I'm interested to find out. And for you, my man here, Crespo, hopefully that Caleb works out for you here. Go get it done this week. Go win some money. All right, you failed me. See, this is where I was hoping Gabe was going to be here to break down big deals like this, but here we are. So you failed me. Brings us a 12-team start 11 Superflex PPR. It's a 2.0 tight end premium, a 0.5 point per carry, and a 1 point first down bonuses for running backs. Return yardage bonuses, and it's a start 3 running back league. So big running back energy in this one. You family got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. He had no capital for the next 2 years. Clearly, he needed to retool, so he felt like he had to part with Gibbs, get some flexibility back in order to move those other pieces. So in this deal, you failed me. He sent away Lamar Jackson, Cortland Sutton, Jahmyr Gibbs, Mark Andrews, and Christian Watson, who is playing. He's playing. He gets back Jordan Love, Tedder McMillan, Ladd McConkey, Harold Fannin, and Patrick Mahomes. So we got to cross some things off here for sure, and then we'll bring in some roster context and go from there. So let's start at the top. So Lamar Jackson, best piece in the deal. Is it Gibbs' best piece in the deal now with where we're at with Lamar? Like, it feels like the community has lost some steam on Lamar. Are you taking Gibbs over Lamar in a startup? I don't think so in a 12 by 11, but I could be wrong. But again, that's also telling me that Super Daddy-O possibly has the 2 best deals in the best assets in the deal here. So Lamar, Lamar, Mahomes, you got to add a good plus to Mahomes to get to Lamar now. We'll call that Lad McConkey and Patrick Mahomes for Lamar and Mark Andrews. Get the stack. You get the stack for the AFC superpowers, and then Pat and Lad. You might not actually go through with that on the Lamar. So I'm thinking, you're right. If I had Lamar and Andrews, I send that away. Get Pat, get Lad. If I'm not trying to win, that might be a fair deal. If I need those quarterback points and I need that Lad, I probably want a little bit more. But we'll call that is what it is. Gibbs. But I send away Gibbs in a 12-by-11 for Jordan Love and Ted Aurora McMillan. Like, that's the price, right? Ted, great rookie wide receiver, did great things in an offense that wasn't that great. Jordan Love feels like he just continues to defy expectations of what we try to put on him in Dynasty. We try to get unexcited, and then he just keeps doing the thing. So Jordan Love, probably a decent option rest of the way here. Bit of middle of the road, but Gibbs for those two, you get a quarterback and a wide receiver for an elite running back. Yeah, you're that's at least close. I'll still lean Gibbs there just because of what Gibbs can represent to a team. But then you're talking Patrick Mahomes and Harold Fannin for Sutton and Watson. Oh, wait, sorry, I already had Patrick there. So it's just Fannin. So Fannin for Sutton and Watson. I've knocked on a lot of doors the last couple of weeks here for Fannin. Let me tell you, it is untouchable season for Fannin. People are excited, even in a Cleveland offense. There's probably some projection that offense gets better, but Harold Fannin, if your name's not Brock Bowers, Mark Andrew, or not Mark, that's funny, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, or I guess Tyler Warren, it's Harold Fannin above every other name. And honestly, if you had an argument over Tyler Warren, given the Daniel Jones injury and the uncertainty at quarterback in Indianapolis, I'm not going to push back too hard. So Harold Fannin is one of the best tight ends we have going in fantasy right now from a ascending asset, an actual producing asset, guys that I want to build my bully tight end teams around. For sure, that's Fannin. Is Sutton and Watson worth it? Watson's been awesome since coming back. He had the injury scare last week. He's playing tonight. I assume he's going to score a couple long touchdowns, right? Especially on here where, PPR, 0.1, you got a first down bonus for running back specifically. The point per carry. It just feels like the format doesn't really fit me wanting to get two very usable and very good wide receivers for the consolidated tight end bet in a Fannin. So when I kind of mash everything together here, this is a very good deal. Neither side loses. Both teams certainly accomplished what they were trying to accomplish. I like your side. You failed me just because, again, the Mahomes, if you align your team well, you got the Mahomes, you have Love for the short term if you still need a quarterback. Tet and Ladd, I'll have Tet and Ladd over Sutton and Watson. Fannin, that's the bet over Andrews. It's just the Gibbs of it all. What is Gibbs worth to your team, and how does that balance out in the whole shake? So you failed me's team before the deal was Lamar, Brissett, and Geno. Gibbs, Saquon, Javonte, Chase Brown, and Warren. DK was the wide receiver one with return yards. Hey, know your format. London, Sutton, Watson, Diggs, and DJ Moore. Bowers, Andrews, Njoku, Ingram. Interesting. Okay. So at quarterback, you now have Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Brissett, and Geno. So you still have Brissett. Geno's starting this week, isn't he? So you at least have 3 starting quarterbacks if you want to go, look at it that way. So I'm fine taking on Patrick Mahomes in that sense. You give up Gibbs. You still had Saquon, Javonte, and Chase Brown. You didn't get a running back here, but you still got Warren as well. Wide receiver, still got that wide receiver one in DK. You got London coming back. Sutton and Watson out. Diggs and DJ Moore bump up. Now's a good week to clear out that lineup to get that DJ Moore in the lineup. Oh, and you add Tet and Ladd in a 12-by-11. So yeah, I really get it from your side. You failed me. From Super Daddy-O's side, I'd love to see his roster. But, getting the consolidated bet at quarterback, the correlation bet in Andrews, You get 2 wide receivers, very, very usable wide receivers in Sutton and Watson, and you get the hammer in Gibbs. I think it's a really good deal. I wonder what your calculator says at home. So, do you want you failed me side to get that Conkey, Fannin, Mahomes? Do you want the Daddy-O side? Get Lamar, Gibbs, in that package. You let me know. And we're going to end it off here with our guy, Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate. I don't see JSN in this deal. I'm assuming this team either, let's see. I don't see JSN on this team. This is a very weird spot for Nasty Nate to be. But in a 12-team start 11 Superflex PPR and a 0.5 tight end premium, that's probably not the best trade value, but he wants to win. So he trades away Jefferson, a 26 first and a 2027 second. He gets Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Jalen Waddle. Wow. FBI, open up. Again, a lot of value to send away. 26 first. You barely made the playoffs after beating the 1 seed in the last week of the regular season. He feels like he still has the players to win on any given week, so he figured he'd go all in. Like, all right, cool. He's got Allen, Purdy, Achane, Kyron, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown. Now he has Waddle, Gesicki, add CMC, and Saquon to Singletary. I think you definitely moved your team forward in a win now mindset, but let's talk about it, right? 26 first. It's going to be late, at worst 109, at best 110, or 112. Jefferson. If I have a Jefferson, and especially if I'm not trying to win right now, I'm not trading my Jefferson straight up for CMC. I'm not trading my Jefferson straight up for Barkley, and I'm not trading my Jefferson straight up for Waddle. You add 2 of those together, and I'm certainly taking the package. Pause. I don't like how that. I don't like how that came out. Don't, Jade, please don't clip that. But legitimately, Jefferson and a 27 second. I'm taking CMC and Barkley comfortably over that. And while Waddle and a 26 first, I think that's probably a fair deal with what we know about Miami and what Waddle's doing right now. I can even argue the first, but I still want the CMC Barkley over Jefferson at a second by a good little bit. So Nate, I love the deal here. You're missing a JSN on your team, so you got to go fix that, but you get after that. But yeah, we did it. We finished it off. I found some power, didn't lose power again, so go us. I really hope that you go win your fantasy football semifinals this week, or you can roll over that value. I don't have the music, all that fun stuff. If you like this show, if you appreciate the effort to continue this show, patreon.com/allgas, get in the Discord. We'll chat and voice chat. Patreon.com also gets you access to, follow the volume. Shane's posting articles, Stephen. It's just, there's so much stuff happening over in DD fantasy football right now, and even throughout the Dynasty playoffs and everything, we are still bringing you everything. So make sure you tap in ddfantasyfootball.com for all the tools to dominate your league. Join the Trades and Chill tier. Hang out with the Dynasty Deal Show crew. Go give them some love. It was just Shane and Scott because, again, power. But yeah, go give them some love. I hope y'all, again, have a great week. I love y'all. Be out of this thing. Peace.